I'm TechShider, and today's video I will introduce you the Snoppa Rover Electric Stabilization Cinema Dolly. With fantastic features such as electric stabilization, pre-programmed movement, precise speed control, smart object tracking, camera control. Snoppa Rover is a progressive film cart that has an off-road progressed electronic adjustment framework. It can drive and shoot steadily and easily on different lopsided streets. Meanderer can be driven physically or move naturally along a preset way. With a heap limit of up to 15 kilograms 33 pounds. A progression of control interfaces, and a picture transmission module. Snoppa Rover can load and control the greater part of the well-known cameras including mirrorless, DSLRs, film cameras, and so on, permitting you to remotely control both the cart's development and camera shooting, and see your shots through your telephone or tablet. Meanderer incorporates 3 wheels each with autonomous power control and controlling framework by means of 3 electric stabilizer arms. This interestingly confines the body from wheel vibration and empowers adaptable movement control. Dynamic damping framework. Meanderer has implicit gyrators and speed increase sensors in every one of its 3 stabilizer arms. These sensors distinguish the vibration of each haggle disposition of the entire vehicle at a recurrence of 16 kHz consistently. The recognition recurrence permits the high-force engines to react to unsettling influences inside 0.06 minute per second. The engines yield control input from a coordinated variable speed framework. And with the additional innate versatility of its springs, Rover can keep up with perfection in any event, while ignoring lopsided surfaces or hindrances. Directing system. On account of the point sensor, Hall sensor, at the joint between the stabilizer arm and the wheels of the Rover, the electric guiding component can be turned 360. This gives adaptable turning execution and takes into account flighty moves. For example, zero sweep turn setup and slope moving easily. Power system. Every one of the 3 wheels of Rover are furnished with individual power drives. The underlying whirligig distinguishes wheel speed progressively. And the savvy calculation can appropriate the force of each wheel independently. This outcomes in smoother movement and more exact control of the Rover. Consistent speed inclining extraordinarily diminishes wheel slippage or track deviation because of conflicting wheel speed. Not at all like vehicles with front wheel controlling. Rover's adaptable turning execution makes it equipped for keeping Rover's front ends heading unaltered under any way of development. The heading of the truck is free of the direction of development. Shooting heading isn't limited by the course of development. In the event that the camera's heading of development should be adjusted during the time spent shooting, you don't have to consider going span to do a U-turn, as Rover can be panned. Meanderer has a moving velocity up to 8 minutes per second, and you can without much of a stretch follow a quick item to shoot. The flexibility of the Rover offers you more opportunities for your chances. Low angle shooting. Assuming low point shooting is required, you can hang the camera topsy-turvy at the lower part of the Rover's middle post to do low camera shots. Low angle shooting. In the event that low point shooting is required, you can hang the camera topsy-turvy at the lower part of the Rover's middle post to do low camera shots. We gained from the overview that was conveyed last month that most clients need the Rover to have a functioning hindrance evasion work. To all the more likely meet your everyday shooting needs, and to safeguard Rover and your camera. A functioning obstruction evasion element will be added to Rover. While shooting in an indoor studio, maybe you like to work at short proximity, offering you more instinctive command over your chances. This is a holder planned explicitly for Rover that detects your hand's tension result for constant reaction, like development and pivot. This guarantees that you appreciate calm and exceptionally exact control in any event, while working physically. Meanderer gives a steady shooting stage that permits us to more readily move the camera and plan the way of the focal point in the shot. So how would you change the heading of the camera, for example, slant during the shooting system? One way is to introduce a video mount head on the Rover, so you can change the camera point progressively and move the rover physically and exactly by the handle. One more method for accomplishing camera point control is by introducing a stabilizer. We will send off a gimbal that can be utilized with the rover in August. This gimbal can be modified and controlled related to the rover. Or on the other hand, you can give and utilize your own stabilizer. Rover's software integrates rover's controls, camera controls, and image previews into the same app, making it a fully functional wireless workbench. The Rover app is available in both tablet and phone versions. The advantage of the tablet version is that it consolidates all the required actions on the same page, so you can perform your operations quickly without having to switch between different menus. Meanderer's remarkable electronic construction and plan for each will give it versatile directing control and dynamic power control. This furnishes the camera group with most extreme adaptability for camera development. Ortho mode. In orthogonal mode, just rover is permitted to move straight in vertical and even headings. Normally utilized for dolly in or out or truck left or right development impacts. Free mode. In free mode, the rover isn't confined toward any path of development. This mode is reasonable for open air shooting or when the surface is convoluted. Circular segment mode. In arc mode, rover keeps the focal point and the subject generally equidistant, pivoting 1/2 turn at a similar revolution speed. Pre-program mode. In pre-customized mode, you can set up straightforward A to B point development ways, as well as more intricate development ways, and save ways as formats. Reasonable for applications that require dreary shooting, and so on. Pre-program mode. In pre-modified mode, you can set up basic A to B point development ways, as well as more complicated development ways, and save ways as formats. Reasonable for applications that require dreary shooting, and so forth. Lock mode. In lock mode, regardless of whether you are physically or remotely controlling the rover's development, the focal point direction will constantly continue as before. Follow mode. In follow mode, the focal point will flawlessly follow the development of rover, for use while a moving subject or an alternate subject should be shot, and so forth. Target mode. In target mode, regardless of how a rover moves, the subject is in the middle all the time of the casing. This mode is just reasonable for use while shooting fixed/still articles. Savvy object tracking. Whenever the need to follow an individual or a moving item emerges during a shoot, Snoppa Rover's smart object tracking will turn into the best individual from your team. For instance, to do a self-following shot, you needn't bother with another group part present to work. You can pass on it to rover to play out the following while at the same time saving labor supply. Brilliant following is substantially more helpful and precise while catching film rather than manual control following shooting. In addition to the fact that you are saving work, cash, and time, you are likewise ready to have the specific chance you need, and can rehash it perpetually. Wanderer is something other than an electric film card. The ideal mix of strong implicit equipment and AI innovation guarantees that you can undoubtedly see camera film while shooting. You can dial in ISO, WB, EV remuneration, gap, and screen speed simultaneously. A mobile hyperpass requires a camera administrator to stroll at a predefined span. Nonetheless, it is difficult to ensure the strolling velocity and security of an individual when a long and wide-range walk is required. Wanderer can without much of a stretch continue on a set way and at a set speed, including around corners and over knocks, carrying more artistic liberty to your hyperlapse. In shooting work, it is generally important to rehash what has been shot previously. What's more, on the off chance that you really want to reinvent the way of each shooting position point of the card, it will be a gigantic migraine and bother, and the precision of the reiteration won't be gotten. In view of that, enhancing rover's way arranging settings, presenting the element of time reversal. For way arranging, you can set the development way outwardly by straightforwardly moving the card's position physically. and Rover will naturally remember the way and position hubs of your development. Whenever it is important to rehash the shooting thereafter, this way can be straightforwardly recovered to precisely recreate the movement following. Snoppa Rover has a limit of up to 15 kg, 33.1 lbs, and can set up a wide scope of famous mirrorless cameras, DSLRs, and film cameras like Red, ARRI on the lookout. The one-of-a-kind burden change handle on the cart can be acclimated to adjust the hardware of different loads inside 15 kg to accomplish the best coordinating. Snoppa Rover is outfitted with a lot of points of interaction through which you can associate and control the camera by your telephone or tablet. HDMI terminal, for DSLR image preview. USB-C, for camera control. SDI, for cinema camera image preview. Augmentation port, for universal remote control and so forth. We planned Rover with 2 battery packs that work in corresponding to build battery limit. This intends that if either pack runs out of force it can basically be supplanted with another one without postponing the shot in the advancement as it generally remains turned on. This plan expands Rover's functioning span, yet in addition assists with adjusting to travel rules encompassing batteries. For example, on planes, Meanderer not exclusively can be immediately collapsed, yet in addition has an excellent plan to have a movement hold to chill out for you to convey. Meanderer was planned without any preparation, and during this interaction encountered in excess of 12 patterns of plan, push down, update. In excess of 300 modified parts, lastly accomplished the last highlights of Rover. Thanks for watching my friends, please subscribe to my channel and like my video. Until my next video. God bless.